Hello, this is Telemere, and welcome to another video of the Redstone Scholar. I can't... Oh, there we go. I'm scratching. Okay, well, what are we doing in this video? Well, we will be making an extremely fast, high-yield automated flower farm. That's what we're doing in this video. So, what are we going to be needing to go and make this critter? Well, this everything here is what you're going to need, right down to... Well, it's a bit more than that. I think it's 7 for those. Let's put that in there, including the numbers of all the items more or less that you are going to need. To begin, we first are going to want to place down a hollow square of grass of about 6 by 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once you have that in place, let's put in the clock. Now this is just a simple burnout clock. If you're wondering why I'm not using a comparator clock instead, one of those super fast ones, the reason why is because it's in fact so fast that it does not allow the farm to work correctly. Now we got that one in place. Let's go and put the lever on the side there and hit that and turn it on. This will prevent the clock from continuing to spasm. Let's begin putting in the next part of our circuit. You're going to want to put a line of blocks on one side here and along the other side there, and this is what's going to be powering not just the pistons on each side, which are going to go and push this back and forth, but also they're going to be what are going to be powering the bone meal dispensers. Let's get those in now. Now you're going to notice that there's a gap on this side. You don't need those blocks on the sides there, but yeah, there's a gap. There's a 2-block gap on that side and the 1-block gap on this side. So that's going to fill in completely for the pistons. If you do not have that gap, then this rectangle of grass will not move at all when the clock has been activated. That will mean that your farm is not functioning. At this point, this is what you should have. You will notice that yes, this side is a little bit shorter than the right side. This is an absolute must. If it is not like that, the farm will be off balance, and no matter how many times I've tried to make this balanced to make it properly offset, it just does not work. It's more you're looking at it, this is your footprint, while this right here is what is going to allow for the adjustment back and forth. Let's next put in our dispensers. Be putting one dispenser here facing inwards towards the grass, another one right here also facing inwards towards the grass. If they're not pointed into the grass themselves, it will not make anything grow. Once you got those down, you're going to go and put a repeater pointing into each one of these dispensers. From there, since these will be powered by those repeaters, we'll be able to continue the redstone along here, and that will allow for all of your pistons to be powered. Once again, that is what you have so far. Pretty much everything that you see here is exactly what it is supposed to look like. So if you want to pause the video here to get caught up, then I can go ahead. We'll be filling in the rest of that grass in a moment. Underneath, once again, we do have those torches. Next, let's go and continue this wiring over here, and on the same thing on this side. And we'll be putting a line of redstone on both sides, and then we'll be placing some observers. Just need 2 on both sides, pointing directly into that redstone. Once again, the right side needs to be longer coming out than the left side, simply because the pistons have been extended out farther. Once that's been done, you can go and put in some temporary blocks on both these sides here in order to go and get our dispensers in their proper place. One right there, and one right there, and remove those temporary blocks. Now you can fill in the grass that you removed. And once again, that is what we have at this point. Now let's start going and putting in the lines, and I'm using green, just the lime green to indicate, and so you can see it very clearly. This is specifically being placed in order to block water from going into locations that it should not be. You do the same thing on the other side. There you have that. Now you can start putting the water in. Now the water underneath here has really only one particular purpose, And that is for those odd occasions when flowers fall in between each one of these pistons. Now, I do not know, and I can't remember, in fact, whether or not that is an issue that was popping up in pre 1.13, but I know that it does happen in 1.14 and also 1.15. So that is why the water is in there and going through, and that's because when the flowers fall down there, sometimes they fall in that block, and I haven't figured out a way to go and stop that from happening, but not, at least not without a lot of extra work. But the times that it does fall through completely, the water will catch those flowers and drag them on through to the bottom here. Excellent. Next, we're going to go and put some more filler blocks in so that we can just see what we are doing and where we're at. Because we're going to be next putting in a flushing system that will pull all of the items from off of the grass all the way along to the edge and the bottom so that you can collect them with ease. From here, we're putting in another circuit. And I'll use yellow to go and indicate what this bit of the circuit's for. But we'll be going and placing down another 3 dispensers. That's just a temporary block right there. One's going to go there, another 2 blocks in, and there's another temporary block, another dispenser, and finally one more dispenser right here. You can go and put in some buckets of water and your further filler blocks. And let's pop a button down right here, and that's what is going to control these. Once you have the dispensers and your blocks in place, put a line of redstone going along here. And finally, you can go and fill in the grass. And this is where we're at so far. Now at this point, you could in fact go around and fill in all of the dispensers with bone meal. And just as a reminder, if you are lacking in supplies, you do not in fact need to have these dispensers in place. The 2 dispensers at the front should be more than adequate to look after this, but this does increase your yield of flowers and seeds. This would also, by removing these, also decrease the necessity of making observers. One last thing that I would suggest doing, even if you're just planning to go and pick this up manually, you can put a line of blocks along here, and this will prevent your flowers from flying off way too far into the distance. So just put some blocks along here, all the way up to this level. You could probably leave a little spot right here for you to jump in and run along here in order to go and pick up all your flowers. So let's just demonstrate that to show you what it looks like. Excellent, so we have all our dispensers filled up with bone meal. All we need to do in order to begin this farm is to flick this switch here. Now, this happened to me, and I should have realized. Just remove that block. And let's just put one bit right here. There we go. You immediately saw some flowers popping up. That shows that it's all working, and you heard the pistons firing. So before you don't really need that block there, actually. That was a temporary block. Now let's try that, flipping that switch again. Wow, that's super loud. Now you notice that we do have some items that are popping up on the top here. To prevent that, it's actually quite simple. You just take a line of blocks and you throw them up top here, and that will prevent them from popping up there. I have never seen any items popping up on the sides, but if you feel like continuing the pattern along there, it won't hurt anything. So once you have done the amount of bone milling that you're wanting to do for flowers, all you need to do is hit this switch over here, and it'll push all of the flowers off to the end. Once they're all at the end there, press the button again, and that will take the water away. And at this point, all you would need to do is to run along here and pick up your flowers. That's great. There's your flowers. Now, what if you wanted to go and automate the pickup process? What you would do, and this is a bit expensive, but you can put simply a line of hoppers. You'd need about 8 of them. And you just break those blocks here, And going into that block, pointing them there, place them all the way along, all of them going into each other. Then you may as well fill that up, since you're not going to need that little runway right there. And you may as well fill that one up as well. You might need to go and put a couple of stair blocks here in order to prevent anything from flying out, since you're relying instead of on yourself to go and get the flowers. You'll be relying on the dispensers. You want nothing flying out on top in an area that you would usually pick them up. Now that you've got that in place, you're just going to toss in a couple of chests right down here, and I put that too high. Now if you just give that another shot, press the button, turn her off, you'll see them slowly making their way into the chest. You know, something that I should point out, you'll notice on occasion, and I'll just clear my inventory so you can see how much is actually flying out of the edges here. It's not a whole lot. There's only about 5 flowers that have come out at the edges. It does happen on occasion, but it's always happening right here. And on the other side, it always happens right there. To prevent that from happening, you would have to put an observer in on right here. Yeah, both those spots. Right there and there. And it's not an easy thing to do, and that's why I don't really bother, and it's just not enough to worry about. Thank you guys all for watching. If you liked the video, please leave a like, and if you want to see more tutorials, subscribe. See you guys all in another video. Bye!